Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to 307 Country. So today what I'm going to do is show you how I cut stickers up for stacking lumber. And I know, I've got a mill. You'd think, take your slabs, stack them all together, throw them on the mill and make a bunch of cuts, but a couple issues with that. As you start cutting and working down, everything on the would be the left side, or the side the blade pulls the wood to, they start wiggling a little bit, and as you cut, sawdust falls down in there, and the more you cut, the more it falls down in there, and so you start getting, all the boards start to get fanned out, and then you're not getting square edges on your board. So I've figured that out. Plus, you got different widths, and so you got to get them all started at least with one straight edge to get them to where you can cut them all, and then you have a bunch of 1x1 or whatever dimension you're cutting it to that's random lengths, and then you either got to cut it all the length or break them off so they fit, or however. So I came up with this. Seems to be a little more efficient for me, but you can do what you want. This is how I do it, so we'll go through this. So I got just a slab. Some of this fir had a little bit of punky wood around the outside that I'm cutting for Calamity Girls siding, and so we're just getting rid of some of that stuff, cutting stickers out of it. So anyway, we'll snap a chalk line on this, just kind of eyeballing where I want to put this end of the chalk line here to get as much as I can out of the board without getting too much wane edge on it. Alright, another little tips and tricks. I think about this quite often when I'm using a skill saw. So a lot of people adjust your blade to the thickness of what you're cutting. And when you're cutting like on a stack of plywood or something, you don't want to cut through more than one sheet, or trying to keep it from cutting something underneath. Yeah, you move your blade down to the thickness, but if you're trying to cut a straight cut, the straightest cut you can get, drop your blade all the way down, and that will give you more surface against the cut in the curve, and it'll keep you straighter. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you're cutting plywood out, if you drop that blade where it's just barely going through, you can almost cut a circle in it. But you try that with the blade all the way down, it'll bind up. So, just a thought. Anyway, here we go. Let's get this cut. Alright, now you can see got a good straight edge on there. Right? Alright, let me grab my tape and my pencil. stack my lumber on 4-foot stacks, widthwise I mean. So I'm going to cut 4-foot stickers. Now I'm not being exact on these. I mean, it's not like I'm doing trim work or something. And I don't have my table set up to keep my board from falling, so I'm going to make my first cut at 8 foot, just to make it a little easier to control. And even that's going to hit the camera. Like we had a 12-foot board here. Yep. And I'll cut that just to make a square in there. It's just a little long. There, cut this 8-footer in half. Alright, there we go. Now we got straight edges on all 3 of those boards to run through the table saw. Throw up here on the table. Usually when I got my stuff set up and I'm doing carpenter work, I got a lot better set up and tables are all set up right. Don't have to move stuff around like this, but when I'm just out here tinkering with stuff, kind of don't set everything up all the way. Someday maybe I'll have a shop where all the stuff is just permanently set up in it, but then I wouldn't be able to go out on jobs. So, and I got a job I got to go do this week. Got a deck I got to build. All right, so I got my fence is at 7/8, and the reason I'm doing that is because when I was cutting all this stuff on the mill, this 1x, it's actually not 4/4, it's 7/8, because I was just dropping my blade 1-inch increments every time, so you got to take the blade width out of that, so it's 7/8. But anyway, so these will be 7/8 squares. Probably ought to get a push stick. I got one right there that I was using yesterday. All right, let's cut some stickers. All right, well, that's the nice thing about cutting them down to 4-foot lengths too, is it makes them more manageable to run through the table saw if you don't have an outfeed table. My usual setup on a construction site, I've got a scaffolding plank, like an aluminum 24-inch scaffolding plank that I set this on, and I've got I think it's an 8-foot plank, so I've got probably 6 feet of an outfeed type table on that plank, so I can just throw that scaffolding plank out on a sawhorse, set my table saw up on it, and I'm good to go for cutting sheets of plywood or whatever by myself. But here at the shop, you know, I might get something set up when I get some concrete poured in here or whatever. But anyway, 4-foot pieces makes it manageable when you don't have an outfeed table. So that's the other thing I like about doing it this way. Anyway, that's how I do it. Got me a big old stack of stickers here. I'm gonna have to go get a 55-gallon drum or something to throw them all in and put them over by my lumber piles and use them for stickering lumber. Hope everybody enjoyed it, and man, Tasman started going live. That's friggin' awesome. Love hanging out with all of you and spending time in the comments. Pretty great. Thanks everybody for subscribing. John Hudson, I see you're here. Appreciate it. Everybody else that's come in, it's just incredible. So see you in the comments. See you on the next one. 307 out.